You know that person. The one who's seemingly aging in reverse. They're 50, with the energy of a 30-year-old, or in their 70s and still the sharpest person in the room. You look at them and think, wow, they must have won the genetic lottery. But what if that belief is mostly a myth? What if the anxiety you feel about losing your vitality, your sharpness, your independence, that feeling of being powerless, is based on an outdated way of thinking about aging? Science is now uncovering a fascinating and frankly empowering new truth. For most of us, our genes are not our final destiny. The real story of why some people resist aging is far more complex and a lot more exciting. It turns out they're following a specific blueprint, a mix of how they eat, move, and think that is demonstrably slowing down their aging process at a cellular level. And today, I'm going to show you what that blueprint is and how you can start using it in your own life. First things first, we need to break up with an idea that has dominated our lives: chronological age. That number doesn't tell the whole story about your health and vitality. It's useful for knowing when you can get a driver's license or a senior discount, but it says very little about how your body is actually doing. We've all seen this. A 65-year-old who runs marathons and a 65-year-old who gets winded on a flight of stairs. Same number of candles on the cake, but biologically, they're worlds apart. This is where the science of aging has made a huge leap, distinguishing between your chronological age and your biological age. Biological age is the real measure of how old your body is on the inside. It reflects the health of your cells, your tissues, and your organs. Think of it this way. Your car might be 10 years old, but if you've taken great care of it, its engine might run like it's only 3. On the flip side, if you've neglected it, that same car could have the engine health of a 20-year-old clunker. What's so exciting is that scientists can now get a pretty good estimate of this biological age. They use sophisticated tools like analyzing chemical tags on your DNA called epigenetic clocks to get a reading. And these tests are showing that the gap between your calendar age and your cellular age can be huge. It's inside that gap that we find the power to change our story. This isn't magic. It's a new science of empowerment. To understand how to control it, we need to look at the 3 pillars that build your biological age. Let's start with the elephant in the room. Genetics. It's the first thing everyone points to, and it's not wrong. Your genes do play a role. They're the initial hand of cards you're dealt. For decades, scientists have used twin studies to figure out just how much of our lifespan is written in our DNA. Historically, most research suggested that the heritability of lifespan was somewhere between 15% and 30%. That means the vast majority of how you age was thought to be influenced by things other than your genes. Now, this field is always evolving. A more recent analysis, like one proposed in the journal Science in 2026, suggested a different model. By mathematically removing deaths from things like accidents or infections, they argued that the heritability of our intrinsic lifespan, our built-in aging clock, might be higher, possibly above 50%. That number can sound big, but it's really important to understand what it means. Heritability is a statistic about a whole population. It doesn't mean 50% of your personal aging story is set in stone. It just reflects how much of the differences in aging across a population can be chalked up to genetics. What it does tell us is that some people are in fact born with a bit of a head start. Scientists have found specific genes that are more common in people who live exceptionally long, healthy lives. One of the most famous is a variant of the FOXO3 gene. People with this variant tend to have lower rates of age-related illnesses like heart disease and diabetes. It seems to be part of a complex network that helps regulate the body's response to stress and promotes cellular repair. You also hear a lot about telomeres. Think of them as the little plastic caps on the end of your shoelaces, but for your DNA. Each time a cell divides, those telomeres get a little shorter. Eventually, they get so short the cell can't divide safely anymore and may either die or become a dysfunctional senescent cell that can cause inflammation. While some people have genes that give them naturally longer telomeres, it's a mistake to see telomere length as a simple countdown clock for your life. It's just one of many factors. So, the key takeaway from genetics isn't doom and gloom. Your genes are the foundation, not the finished building. They create predispositions, not certainties. The real power is in how your daily actions constantly interact with that genetic blueprint. And that brings us to the pillar where you have the most control. If genes are part of the story, your lifestyle choices make up most of the plot. This isn't just about avoiding bad habits. It's about proactively choosing habits that tell your body to stay youthful and resilient. This is where you become the architect of your own biological age. Let's start with maybe the most powerful tool we have: movement. A body in motion really does stay younger. When we think of aging, we often picture frailty and weakness. Exercise is the direct antidote, but its benefits go way deeper than just muscle. Scientists now use functional markers that are surprisingly good at predicting future health. Things like your grip strength, your walking speed, and how long you can stand on one leg are powerful predictors of health and mortality. For example, studies show that a faster walking speed is strongly associated with better health outcomes and a lower risk of cognitive decline, while a stronger grip is linked to lower mortality. These aren't just numbers on a chart, they are real-world signs of your body's resilience. Every time you take the stairs or go for a brisk walk, you're actively training these markers and nudging down your biological age. Next up is what's on your plate. Nutrition is the fuel your body uses for trillions of cellular jobs every day. The world of diet advice can be a nightmare, but the science of anti-aging nutrition points to a few core ideas. The goal is to reduce chronic inflammation, which drives nearly every age-related disease. This means a diet rich in whole foods, colourful fruits and vegetables packed with antioxidants, healthy fats from olive oil and avocados, and quality proteins. These foods give your body the materials to repair damage and fight inflammation. A diet high in processed foods and sugar does the opposite. It's like putting your foot on the biological aging accelerator. Then there's the unsung hero of health: rest. Sleep is not a luxury. It's a non-negotiable biological need. While you sleep, your body is doing a massive clean-up and repair job. Your brain's glymphatic system gets to work clearing out metabolic waste that builds up during the day, a process vital for long-term brain health. Your cells repair DNA, and your body regulates hormones that control everything from your appetite to your stress levels. In fact, emerging research shows plausible links between healthy sleep and more youthful scores on those epigenetic clocks. When you consistently shortchange your sleep, you rob your body of its essential maintenance time. Finally, we have the accelerators, the things that put aging into overdrive. The big two are smoking and excessive sun exposure. Smoking floods your body with toxins, causing massive inflammation and damaging everything from your skin to your DNA. Too much sun degrades the proteins that keep your skin firm and also causes DNA damage. Avoiding these is the low-hanging fruit in the mission to age well. The first two pillars, genes and lifestyle, make sense to most people. But this third pillar is where the science of aging gets really interesting. It's the power of your mind, your resilience, your social connections, and your sense of purpose. This isn't just about thinking young. It's about how your mental state directly talks to your physical body. Let's start with stress. We all have it, but it's chronic stress that acts as a potent aging accelerator. When you're constantly on high alert, your body is flooded with cortisol. Over time, high cortisol is linked with chronic inflammation, it messes with your sleep, and it can weaken your immune system. Psychological resilience is the skill of bouncing back from stress. It's not about avoiding it, but about managing it. People who build resilience through things like mindfulness or just healthy coping mechanisms are better at turning off that stress response, protecting their cells from its age-accelerating effects. The evidence for this is compelling. For instance, observational studies have looked at the link between resilience and mortality. One following over 10,000 adults found that those with higher resilience had a significantly lower risk of death from any cause, even after accounting for other health factors. Next, and this is huge, is the power of social connection. In 2023, the US Surgeon General, Dr. Vivek Murthy, released an advisory stating that the health risks of chronic loneliness are comparable to smoking up to 15 cigarettes a day. Let that sink in. Lacking strong social bonds can be as damaging to your health as a serious smoking habit. Loneliness is associated with a higher risk of heart disease and dementia. When we feel connected, it acts as a powerful buffer against stress. It fosters a sense of security that translates directly into better physical health. Those people who seem to defy aging are almost always tangled up in a web of meaningful relationships. Finally, there's having a sense of purpose, a reason to get out of bed in the morning. In Japanese culture, they call it ikigai. You don't need to have it all figured out, but having a why is incredibly protective. Studies consistently show that older adults who report a strong sense of purpose are at a lower risk of diseases like Alzheimer's and have lower mortality rates. A sense of purpose keeps you engaged and looking forward. This psychological outlook seems to send a biological signal to your body to keep investing in repair and resilience. So, how do these three pillars, DNA, lifestyle, and mindset, all come together? They combine to determine something even more important than your biological age right now, your pace of aging. This is where epigenetic clocks get truly revolutionary. Remember, these clocks read the chemical tags on your DNA that tell your genes what to do. Your lifestyle and your mindset are constantly influencing these instructions. A landmark study, like the 2026 research in Nature Aging that followed a cohort in Italy for decades, made a groundbreaking discovery. It wasn't just a person's biological age at the start that predicted their health. It was the rate of change in their epigenetic clocks over time that was a powerful and independent predictor of survival. This means two people could start with the same biological age, but if one is making choices that speed up their clock, while the other makes choices that slow it down, their health paths will split dramatically. Someone who starts exercising, improves their diet, and nurtures their social connections can influence the markers of aging at a molecular level. We can now see this in the data. This is the ultimate answer to why some people seem to resist aging. They have adopted a set of behaviors across their lifestyle and mindset that slows their personal pace of aging. Their chronological age keeps ticking up, but their biological age crawls along much more slowly. They are living proof that aging is a dynamic and malleable process. The idea that you're on a fixed timeline determined at birth is simply not the full picture. The people who seem to defy time aren't magicians. They are living proof of a profound scientific truth. We have far more control over how we age than we ever thought possible. While your genetics may deal you an initial hand of cards, it's your lifestyle and mindset that determine how you play that hand. The choices you make every day, what you eat, how you move, the quality of your sleep, the strength of your relationships are all sending instructions to your cells, dialing your pace of aging up or down. The goal isn't just to live longer, but to live better. It's about increasing your health span, the number of years you live in vibrant, robust health, full of energy and purpose. The blueprint isn't a secret anymore. It's not about finding a fountain of youth, but about building one day by day, choice by choice. The power to write the next chapter of your aging story is, and always has been, in your hands.